Let's look at the eFile paths in ProFile. There's a video about how to find files, and in that video it shows you where you set the path for the files in Environment, Options Environment. There are other paths in ProFile too. You may need to locate them if your Tier 2 asks you to. But let's look at a profile path that relates to a failure to e-file a return. So this is the message. This is a fairly common call driver. It shows that it failed and has transmit now, transmit later. Those you cannot use. They don't function at all. The transmit now, it's not going to transmit now, and the transmit later won't transmit later. What happens here is you'll have to cancel. And if I look up at the top right, there's an X in a red circle and there's dots beside it. That means it's the path. That's 99% of the time, it's the path to the eFile directory that's causing the issue. Let's go to ProFile and have a look and see what this all looks like. I'm in a return here, which obviously isn't eFile eligible, and I'm going to try and eFile it. So I'm going to eFile, ignore that there's warnings. And what you usually see if there's warnings that are in the auditor, you'll see the X, but there's this little arrowhead here, right facing arrowhead. So if you click on that, it'll tell you what the problem is. And there's a lot of problems here, obviously, a lot of yellow highlights. But again, you can't transmit now or transmit later. You have to cancel. Always have to cancel. And I can go back and fix everything in the auditor. So what happens though is when you get the dots, what it's telling you is that in the eFile options, there's a path. This is the eFile directory. And what happens is this eFile directory is fine. Just to demonstrate here, it can be any path that profile can write to. So I put it 216 just to show that I can eFile returns, get a green check mark, even if it's this. So it has to be a path that profile can write files to. If I go to T2, there's no eFile directory there. So what profile will do it'll write the necessary files that it builds to send to CRA. So there's no directory here. Profile will build those eFile to CRA files in the T2 directory. If for some reason this is wrong, you can change it. In the T1 with the dots beside the red X in a circle, the X in the red circle, you can change it. And the way you would change it is the same as I'll demonstrate here. So what I can do is I can browse and go to a directory if I want. I can go to, and it's a little bit harder this way because you got to find where the directories are. So I can browse and find the directory. But what I can also do, go to my profile data and I go to the T2 returns and I can see these are the files that it builds to send to CRA, but I don't really want them in the same directory. So what I can, as the text files. So what I can do is go to, scroll down a bit more, and there's this file folder at the bottom, eFile. So what I can do then is just copy the path, and then I can go back to Profile and paste it in there. Right click, paste. Now I have the directory here, and press OK. And that's how you set up the file directory. I'll demonstrate that one more time. So if you get the dots, just go here. And what I'm going to do is go back to Profile, go to my profile data. There's an eFile folder. There's 2122. It's been building them in the 2016 T1 folder. But what I can do is right click, new, and just make it 2023 or whichever year in T1. And then I can copy that path. Go back to Profile, highlight the incorrect path. A lot of times what happens is this happens when people move to a new computer, and maybe on the old computer it was D Robbins, and on this computer there is no D Robbins, so Profile can't find the directory. So what I'll do is highlight this. I know it's incorrect because of the dots, paste, press OK. Now Profile will build in this directory the required eFile files. I can press OK. You can check to see if there's an options package. There is no options package here, so I'm done. Now I can go back and try and e-file the return where I got the failed with the dots beside the red circle with an X in it. That's how you change the path for the e-file directory for the T1 and the T2. It will help you to resolve that issue specifically with the red circle with the X in it, but to the left there's not the arrowhead, there's the dots. Hope you found this video useful.